Hello, it's Nikki. Okay, this is a juicy topic. It's a bit controversial. It may be a little bit triggering because you may have that feeling of, can I still be a nice person and say no? I get it. I hear you. I've been that nice person. I continue to be that nice person. But I do say no these days. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is this sense on the internet. So, as soon as you become somebody who looks like they know what they're talking about, as in you're sharing content, you're doing things, you're being asked to speak on things, or you're actually getting paid clients. People want to know how you did it and how you're doing it. And for a lot of the time, not all of the time, I want to give lots of people the benefit of the doubt. People want to speed up that process. So they want to know how you did it and the three key things that you did so they can do it too in less than 24 hours. And sometimes people don't want to pay for that process. They want to just pop into your direct messages, ask all the questions, or want to extrapolate all the information without really putting some skin in the game themselves. And I've noticed this over time, for a long time actually. I started as an actor and continue to be an actor. But when I went to drama school many years ago, I left a very small town in the north of England and moved down when I was 18. And throughout my teenage years, where there wasn't much information. I mean, I used to gorge on the behind the scenes footage on Blue Peter because we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media. People who did theatre or who were on the telly were, it felt like they were very far away from me. So every opportunity where I could read the paper or read a magazine or get Good Housekeeping and find out how that actor in Silent Witness did it, I was all over that stuff. And the unfortunate thing was that in my small sort of circle, my network, they didn't know the information either. So I remember being in my A level theatre studies class and asking my teacher on advice about drama schools. And she just said, I don't know. I just don't know the answer. I don't know what that's all about. So from a very early age, I had this sense of, okay, if I'm going to do this and if I'm going to carve out this way of working, I'm going to have to figure it out myself. And there will be some things that I can get for free, and reading a newspaper article, or now we have the internet, or free video series, or some things like that. But there will be some things that I need to pay for because those people have paved the way before me and they've done all of that work and they're shortening that process for me. Now, over the years, as my acting career progressed and as I started to do more and more stuff, again, people from my local town would get in touch with me, whether that was on Facebook or, they would phone my mum and say, can I have Nikki's number? And, my mum was always very hesitant to kind of randomly give out things and obviously would give out, check my opinion and my permission first. But one thing that I think sometimes comes up is that friendly, can I have a quick chat with you? Or can I have all the information that you've ever built up and just take it and then run with it? Now, over the years, there have been times where I've given out free advice, and I always make sure that when I'm doing my talks, I'm giving a lot. So this talk that I'm doing with Stylist in a few weeks, it is all about giving. I want to make sure that I'm not just waffling on about my own story. And this is the direction to all of the panelists, that we want to make sure that we're there to provide lots of really great, solid information. But this is where the bit that I feel a bit uncomfortable is. Sometimes people are not ready for the answers that you are about to give them. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes people are not ready for the answers that you're going to give them. So in this example, there have been lots of times where people have asked to have a chat about becoming an actor or becoming a coach, or how do I get more speaking things, or any of the sort of chargeable services, I guess, but they sort of want that favor. And if I'm thinking about how I'm carving out that time in my day, because I have two children, because I'm doing lots of different things, I want to make sure that in that conversation, I'm providing a lot of value for that person. I don't want to just have a casual chat, especially if I don't know them very well. It has to be quite purposeful. So, quite often, I will begin the conversation and say, okay, I'm all yours. What would be most useful for you to know? And 9 times out of 10, especially if I don't know this person, and now I don't necessarily do this as much because it sort of feels like a waste of my time, the response is usually like, oh, I don't know really. I just sort of wanted to have a chat and I thought you could just like tell me about your business and stuff. And immediately I have to take a deep breath and go, oh no, they're not ready for this level of support. Because if I take myself back to that time when I was thinking about becoming an actor and I had so many questions that I needed answering, I would probably have about 25 questions off the top of my head, ready, desperate to be answered, because I was in that frame of mind of, I'm doing this. This is what's happening. These are the next steps. And sometimes, even if I wasn't sure that I would make this decision now and it would have a great impact on later down the line, I was in that research frame of mind of trying to figure it out. Now, this is the piece that I really want to share with you. So many of my clients or people will DM me and have this conversation, or it comes up a lot about talks, is what happens when people come into your inbox and or your direct messages or things like that, and they'll say, can you tell me how you did it? Or you seem to be doing really well. And I was talking, and my client, if she's listening today, I'm sure she'll be like, oh yeah, we did talk about this the other day. She's really skyrocketed over the last year. And so therefore she's attracting a lot of people going, hang about, how are you doing this? This seems great. And can you just share all of your secrets? Now, one thing I want to really hammer home is that's a very, very violent analogy. One thing that I really want to connect with is you don't owe anybody anything for free, and it's entirely your decision what you give away for free and what you don't. And for me, I feel that the podcast and how I can share information on a mass level is a really great use of my time. And also it's a really great use of people who listen, because I know lots of people around the world are hearing this message. I'm not doing this in a let's have a free chat for an hour or let's go for a lunch, because at this age and stage of my life, I'm not able to do that. So one thing I want to really talk about is how can you package up that information so somebody can get loads of value, they can get the answers that perhaps they didn't even know that they needed, but also you get paid for it. So by all means, do that free 15-minute session where you have a chat with somebody, the discovery call, the whatever people call it, how much you gel, all of that sort of stuff. But I want you to think about what that gap is in terms of maybe it's not a 3-month program. Maybe it's not somebody starting to book you on a retainer. Maybe it's something that shows how you can be an expert and you can share that knowledge with that person. What I mean by this is, when I was thinking about becoming an actor, and then I did and went to drama school and started working and figuring all those things out, because I went to drama school, I had a really good foundation. So I learned the technicalities of how to be an actor. But as I went through, there was a lot of guidance around agents or casting directors or industry protocol, what was expected, and how you navigate the industry. Now, bear in mind, I left in 2003, so this was pre-internet. So then that was a whole different kettle of fish. But one of the things that people were always asking is, how do you become an actor? How do you do all of those things? And this led me to my first passive income product, because at the time when I wrote it, which was 2012, 2011, I was working as an agent, but also I'd done my acting training. Also, I'd done my life coaching training. And I really found this lovely little sweet spot of, I can share what it's like to be an actor, what your agent needs from you in terms of strategy, because most actors just sort of spend a lot of time just slagging off their agents because they're not getting where they need to go. However, there's so many things to that, but that's for another time. But also, because I'd had this formalized life coach training, I knew different strategies about mindset and limiting beliefs and things like that. So if somebody was to sit down with me and for me to share every single piece of information I know about those topics, we would probably sit down for a whole week without any sleep, because that's the number of hours that it would take for me to share that information. But also, that would be really expensive for somebody to be able to charge me or me to charge them per hour in order to do that. So this is where I came up with the idea for my book. And it took me 6 months to write. Obviously, I had all of the things like, who am I to write a book? How can I do this? Etc., etc. But very quickly, I found there was these buckets of information that I knew about. So I knew I could talk about agents. I knew I could talk about casting directors. I knew I could talk about online presence or your portfolios. So your CV, your headshots, your show reel. I knew that I could talk about resilience and how you keep picking yourself up after the endless rejections that you may get. And I realized that I had lots of information. So what I did was I took that 6 months, and now when I look back, actually, if you're thinking about it, passive income, writing a book is probably not the most cost-effective way of doing it, because it takes a lot of editing. I had 2 editors and I was going back and forth in doing that. So I would do things slightly differently this time, which I'll go on to in a minute. But I found with the book that I could pull all that information together and package it up and sell it via my website and share it, and people could digest and enjoy and learn in their own time. And also, it's something that they can keep going back to. And if they're coming in at that very sort of entry point, I would say, of not necessarily having a huge budget to invest in one-on-one stuff, I felt really satisfied, really good that this was a good entry level option. So maybe it's for those people who are just about to apply for drama school, or they're in the early stages, or they just kind of need that quick pick me up. We all love books, don't we? You know, we've all had so many things from there. So over time, that has been a really lovely way of referring people to that. And of course, because it's mine, because I own the rights, sometimes I can choose to give that for free. I can decide what I do with that because I wrote it, I own it, and it's a really lovely way that I can position that. Also, as well, it pays me monthly. I receive royalty payments every single month because of that book. Now, that's something that I did all those years ago, but it still rewards me on a day-to-day basis. So over to you now. I want you to think about, what are the things that people are asking you all the time? What are the things that people are craving from you? And I can't tell you how passionate I am about this passive income stuff. And I need to sort of find a different sentence for it, because passive income just sounds a bit, I don't know, sleazy, or it feels like it's a phrase that belongs to a different industry or belongs to somebody who doesn't look like me or you. I guess it's probably quite a masculine phrase as well. It's maybe come from those American marketers who put you in a funnel and talk about passive income, and they're sitting in some hideous gold car driving down a highway and going to find some bitches or whatever. Sorry, that's very judgy of me, but I think you might know what I'm saying. So passive income, or whatever lovely phrase we're going to come up with, I want you to think about what that is for you. And my podcast that I'm going to be sharing tomorrow is sort of my reason why, and maybe for you, why it's really important to do this now. And this isn't necessarily something that's going to change your business overnight. The end goal, it would be lovely for you to be a 7-figure business owner by the end of next week because you've put together your Sparkly course. But believe me, that's something that you can build up to. So the course subscription that I have, where I host all my things these days, it's a significant but it's a consideration of the amount of money that I pay per month to host that in a lovely way. In the beginning, I didn't have that budget to invest in those overheads. So one thing I want to say is, even though you might see somebody building up to all of these things and you see them sharing as Facebook ads or whatever it might be, people get to that point over time. So your exercise for today is thinking about what are those things people ask you all the time, maybe that they're not willing to pay for. So it could be, how did you get all those clients? Or could you recommend a good coaching certificate? Or do you think I need a certificate? Or how did you grow your Instagram following? What marketing materials should I use? Or what technology works best for you? Think about those frequently asked questions and think about how you could package those and how you could answer them. And again, I know there's going to be limitations that come up, even as I'm saying this, of you going, yeah, well, there isn't like a one size fits all. Like, it depends on people's business. And I don't know if I could give out that advice because everybody's different. I want you to stay open. I want you to consider what you could do and what that might look like, rather than putting the pressure on yourself to find the solution immediately. You're probably not going to find the solution. And this is a thing as well that comes up, is because social media and the internet is so fast, we feel like we have to know the answer straight away. Otherwise, the universe hates us or we've done it wrong in some way. It's okay to ruminate on these things. You don't have to give yourself that pressure. So take it off. It doesn't help you either. So I want you to think about what that would look like. And I also want to remind you that from October, I'm going to be helping people with this passive income. And I do have so many resources. I have so many how-to videos that I am going to be sharing with you. But I am interested in this accountability as well. So this is the first time that I've run this in this way. And one thing that I've been seeing time and time again is how important this accountability alongside the self-study is. Because anybody can purchase a course, but are you actually going to do it? Are you going to complete it? Are you going to do it full out? Are you going to complete the work full out without really looking at the mindset of what is going on underneath? And the reason that I say this is we can, I guess it's, if I use the analogy of learning to drive a car, we can all watch a video. I don't think we should, but we can all watch a video on how to drive a car. But there is nothing like actually getting in a car, and that's maybe when all your fears come up of like, oh my goodness, there's other people on the road, or that person's going too fast, or I remember when I was a kid and this person overtook us and it was scary. And that's when all the mindset comes into play, and that's when you really have to take charge of it as well. So that's why I want to work in this way. I want to work with you one-on-one. I really want to help you to open up up possibilities of how you can make this work. I'm not interested in just saying, right, these are the 3 things that I did and here are my secrets for success. It's not about me, it's about you and your business, and every business and brand is going to be completely different. And that's the beauty of it. You can put your own spin on it in a really great way. So I'm going to be working with you one-on-one. Also, you'll have all of that resource library of you to work through in your own time. And also as well, you're going to have lifetime access to that. So anytime you need to come back to it, you can do, and you can work through it and go, oh, okay, now I'm at a new level. So what would this look like? And you can use the materials again. And then the final point is that unlimited, and I'm serious here, unlimited WhatsApp email support of you going, what do you think of this? I've written my sales page. Does it make me sound a bit of a sleazy pants? Can I say this? What's missing? Or, oh my goodness, I actually did it and I made my first sale. Having that accountability, having somebody that's on your team and I've got you, is so important. I was working with a client in July and she was making huge moves in terms of her business, but also had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as well. And from what she was saying as well, I knew that she was very close to feeling overwhelmed, because you can have the best positive mindset in the whole world, but sometimes things do pile up and there's only limited amount of hours in the day. So sometimes it can feel quite heavy in terms of those things. And me being at the end of that WhatsApp going, it's fine, it's okay, no, just say no, or just go back to them, just do this. It's almost like that friendly older sister. Obviously, I don't want to be older, but you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of, come on, we'll do this together. So there's only a handful of spots. As you know, I had my baby in August, so I'm really interested in serving fewer but serving better. And as we progress into November, because I know lots of people will be looking at doing this in terms of the end of the year and going into 2020. And actually, a client of mine said the other day that Christmas Day is the most popular time to buy online courses, which I found was really interesting. So there might be something in there as well of you getting that ready for the new year. So this is why this time, just while my baby's little, for the next couple of months, I'm only doing a few. The price is reflected in that. It's much cheaper in terms of how I work, and I'm excited to get started. I know lots of you are going to receive I say lots of you, several of you are going to receive my online materials over the weekend, and I'm excited to share. But in the meantime, whether you work with me one-on-one or not, please go into that detail, please go into that exercise, and don't wait until the next person gets in touch. Start now. Start making some notes and considering what you could do. And I tell you what, once that passive income comes in, it's going to be really beautiful. It's going to be so great. And notice here, actually, that although I love the passive income, I really love the one-to-one stuff as well. So even though in this episode I'm promoting passive income, actually the work that I'm going to be doing in October and the one-to-one stuff, it's not passive. It's me showing up and bringing all of those things to the table. But having the passive as well, it's just a great thing. Right, I'm going to leave that with you. Have a glorious Sunday, whatever you might be doing. Or if you're listening on the replay, welcome. Hello. Let me know your thoughts. There's only a few places left. Email me hello@nikkiraby.com. Also, as well, if you don't have your idea or you're not quite sure what it's going to be like, don't worry. Everything doesn't have to be fully fledged and ready to go. That's why I'm here. We'll work through it together. It's all fine. And I'm sure you know this if you've listened to the podcast. You are in safe hands. I'm not into that kind of hardcore, scary personal trainer vibe. I know that it can be scary to enter into new realms and explore different possibilities. So I know I don't really need to say that, but I just wanted to share that as well as an aside. I've got you, and it's all going to be groovy. All right, have a lovely day. I'll see you soon. Bye.